We are now in week 11 of the NHL season, and it's about that time when we start to see where teams truly start to combust or pull away from the pack. We have new faces on new teams already getting a shot at revenge, all while tempers are starting to be tested. So, let's cover what really happened in week 11 of the NHL season. Let's start this off with what was formerly known as the Hughes Bowl. The Canucks and Devils, not anymore though, but Zeev Buium, the big piece Vancouver got back in the Hughes deal, is already starting to build the love. He picks up an assist and gets his first as a Canuck. That's how you start it. Demko was excellent in this one too, stopping 25 of 26. Canucks win 2-1 after their franchise was left with crippling depression. I doubt anyone is going to fill the void of Quinn Hughes. But in Minnesota, there he is in a Wild jersey making his debut, and Minnesota was absolutely buzzing. The Carillionaire gets 2 goals, and then Quinn Hughes steps down Broadway and rips one for his first as a Wild. Ladies and gents, welcome to Quinnesota. The man has never been happier. The Wild win big in a 6-2 victory, and a new era begins. Then we go to Pittsburgh, where the wheels are just falling off here. These guys cannot hold a lead. Last week, they blew a game with 0.1 seconds left to the Ducks. The previous day, the Penguins blew a 5-1 third period lead to the Sharks, and now up 3-0 heading into the third. Utah scores 4 goals in the first 7 minutes and eventually wins the game in OT. An absolute collapse of a week for the Penguins. They've now lost 5 in a row, and for the love of God, if they miss the playoffs again, just get the hashtag Save Sid movement starting right now. I don't want to see Sid miss another year of the playoffs, especially when he's still this damn good. Meanwhile, the bussy keeps on rolling for the Carolina Hurricanes. Another shootout win for the guy. He's now 11-1 on the season. Holy, have the Canes found their guy. Then we have Edmonton coming into Montreal and getting slapped around a little bit. Demidov with a freaking laser beam of a shot. Bar South, how are ya? The Habs power play goes 2 for 4 in the night. Dobish stops 27 shots in a bounce back game, and everything seems great again with the Bleu, Blanc et Rouge. Finally though, we finish with a toilet bowl game. Sabres Kraken. Let's be honest, you chose to watch paint dry instead of this one, and I don't blame you. Just don't lie to me. You're human just like the rest of us. All you need to know is that the Sabres won their 3rd in a row, and they're officially out of Bettman's basement in the East. That title now belongs to Columbus. Now I know this is wishful thinking, but damn it, the Sabres fans deserve way better than what they've gotten over the last 15 years. If they could somehow find a way to go on a run here and sneak into the playoffs, I do think we'd all be happy for them, but it's probably not going to happen. Then we move on to Monday with the Battle of Florida. Panthers were up 4-0 at one point, and then guys started teeing off. Jake Gensel, of all people, wants to go with Nico Mikkola. Mikkola just holding him off like he's his little brother. Look at him just wiggle off the glove calmly and then just starts feeding him. Also, the Panthers hate Brandon Hagel ever since he hit Barkov last year in the playoffs, and any chance they get to try and kill him, they take it. Look at Seth Jones here. He comes out with the old chicken wing aiming for that chin. Mission accomplished for the Panthers as Hagel had to leave the game, and they win 5-2 to boot. Then at MSG, Chris Kreider returns to New York for the first time since being traded. He gets a standing O from the crowd. Rangers fans missed the PETA guy from Sausage Party tipping in clutch goals in the playoffs, but life goes on. It was a Rangers home game, so that does mean they lost, but afterwards, Igor Shesterkin was crashing out in the tunnel, smashes his stick. Guy is fed up with having to carry this team on his back and still coming out with an L. Now, the Monday night Bezos special was the Jets and Sens. Ottawa down by 1 with under 2 minutes left. Mark Scheifele tips it in his own net. That's the kind of season the Jets are having right now. Kachuk buried the OT winner and says, let's go home with the 2 points, as the Sens kind of steal one there. Meanwhile, the Preds and Blues had our toilet bowl, but you know what? Nashville may be turning a corner here. Philip Forsberg gets a hattie. The Preds win 5-2, and all of a sudden, they've now won 7 of their last 10 games. Would you look at that? Who knows? Maybe they did end up getting shit-faced and went to the Sphere like I suggested to turn their season around. Win or lose, you gotta hit the booze. And finally, we got the Kings and Stars, where Mikko Rantanen is just becoming a straight-up goon this season. He bumps into Darcy Kemper and completely knocks him out of the game. That insult into injury, the Moose picked up a goal and assist. Dallas won 4-1 and continues to just steamroll through the league. Between them, Colorado, and now Minnesota, it is a gauntlet in the West. Now, before we hop into Tuesday's games, today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. The NHL is in full swing, the NBA is back, and right now, you can get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek, the #1 rated ticketing app with over 28 million downloads. There's more than 70,000 listed events from sports to concerts to festivals and more. For years now, I've been using SeatGeek exclusively to find the best deals for everything, including a nice deal at the Scotiabank Library to catch the Leafs on some nights. The app allows me to browse seating on a scale of 1 to 10, search for tickets, and get the best deals available. Right now, you can get 10% off of any tickets by using code HOCKEY2025. Just hit the link in the description to download the app. It'll automatically apply the code to your account so you're ready the next time you find a deal. So if you want a seat as good as this one for a damn good deal, make sure you get on the app and get looking. It's 100% worth it. Once again, big thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring these weekly recaps. Now, speaking of Scotiabank Library, let's go there for the Leafs and Blackhawks. No Connor Bedard in this one. He's out until 2026. That sucks. So this should be a gimme for Toronto, but these are the Leafs, ladies and gents. They get shut down for 40 minutes of hockey. The Boo Birds start coming out. First time the crowd has made noise since Game 7 of last season, but then they turn it on for the Yacht Club. Austin Matthews, reported missing on milk cartons, gently places this one upstairs to tie the game, and he puts his hand to his ear to say, "Get louder to the library," and it works. 8 seconds later, Dakota Joshua has a dog of an effort to score a goal, and the Leafs get 2 goals in 8 seconds to win the game. Who cares that they looked awful for 50 minutes? They won, so the parade is on. Then it's the Revenge Bowl right away. It's the Oilers and Penguins. Skinner versus Jari 4 days after they were traded for each other. These guys are still wearing the other team's mask. That's how fresh the trade still is. This is Skinner's debut for Pittsburgh, and McDavid and Draisaitl did not let up. Draisaitl gets his 1,000th point in the show. Whole bench comes out to celebrate right in front of Skinner. That's awkward. Then McDavid probably gets a little bit of payback. He does what only he can do. Everyone else is in slow-mo. He cuts through like butter and buries on Skinner. The McDraisaitl combination got 4 points each. McDavid taps Skinner on the pads afterwards and says thanks for the cookies. All of a sudden, McDavid has passed McKinnon for the league lead in points. Now, hey, maybe the Rangers sucking on home ice is an inside job from the league. Look at this pick play here by the Stripes. Just looking like prime Shaquille O'Neal with this pick to get right in the way of the Ranger defender so that Kane can take her to the net and bury. Demko shuts out New York because, well, the Rangers are playing at home and the Canucks are undefeated since trading Hughes. Let's also give a couple clicks for Detroit right now, who are in their scheduled hot phase. They beat the Islanders to move into first in the Atlantic. Now, all they have to do is avoid the 4 and 5 game losing streaks right after, like they've done every year since missing the playoffs. Then we go to Montreal, and maybe Jacob Fowler wasn't the answer to their goaltending problems. Yeah, shocker. I guess that's what happens when you throw a rookie goaltender to the Wolves that quickly. He gives up 4 goals to Philly. Zegras is on a 4-game goal streak for the Flyers, and it seems like the goalie carousel will continue in Montreal as of right now. Also, the Blue Jackets may be asked this year. They're on a 5-game losing streak, but Zach Werenski is still making his case for a Norris Trophy. He enters the day only 5 points behind Makar for the league among defensemen, and he grabs a pair and an assist on Fantilli's overtime winner. Jackets win 4-3 and finally snap their skid. Boston keeps on rolling, by the way. The Geek Squad gets his 2 goals against the Mammoth in a 4-1 Boston win. Meanwhile, the Wild are so scary with Hughes that they're making other playoff teams look like bottom feeders. Tarasenko says, welcome to the Tarasenko show. He gets 2 goals himself. The Karelianer got on the board as well, and Hughes got an assist. They spank a pretty good Caps team, 5-0. The Wild look legit. Let's go to the Avs and Kraken. Things are already looking like a mess here, eh? Gen Z Lion Brawl. Everyone grabs a guy, wrestles him, tackles him to the ice, but God forbid we shed the mitts here. McKinnon says that's all right. Must have saw what McDavid did earlier and said no problem. He comes out and gets 2 goals and an assist for himself to reclaim the scoring lead as the Avs win again. Finally, we finish off the night with the Macklin Celebrini show. Watch him take this puck, hit the spin cycle around the D, and take her to the net and bury. That right there has got SeatGeek Goal of the Week written all over it. He puts up 4 points in this one and joins only McDavid and McKinnon as the only players in the league with at least 50 points. The kid is sick, and once again, he leads the Sharks to their 3rd straight win. Now, let me tell you a little something about Wednesday's games. No more than 5 goals scored in any of the games, so if you liked fun, too damn bad. Also, in other bad news, Panthers are starting to catch fire here. A 3-2 dub over the Kings makes it their 6th win in their last 7 games. Only a matter of time before they said enough is enough here, and they're still missing Kachuk and Barkov. Meanwhile, Utah joins the logjam in the West wildcard after beating Detroit. Them, along with the Sharks and Kings, are all tied with 37 points. It also looks like the Preds wagon didn't last very long either. Carolina beats them in a 4-1 win, says thanks for the 2 points. Jets and Blues played. A good game to skip if you want to literally do anything else. Real barn burner here, 1-0 St. Louis win. Poor Jets fans thought Hellebuyck was going to come back and save the day. That is a tough pill to swallow. They're not as good as they thought. They're now lost 5 of their last 6. Finally, we got Jersey and Vegas. It's 1-1. Let's go to a shootout here where Jesper Bradatui, backhand, Roof Daddy-O Jr. He goes top bunk where Mama hides all the Christmas ornaments. Then Mitch Marner has a chance to win in the shootout yet again this year, and he fumbles it. And even though it goes into the net, it's no goal since Allen poked it in first. Vegas should just hit the showers whenever it goes into a shootout. Vegas has lost half their games this season, but they have so many damn loser points that they sit 5th in the league to end the night. Now on to Thursday, where a couple teams are riding the struggle bus. First, let's start with the Penguins. They get shut out by Ottawa 4-0, and all of a sudden they've lost 7 in a row. Their hot start has completely fizzled out. The true Penguins are here, and it's looking like the hashtag Save Sid movement is going to come back with a vengeance. Damn it, the hockey world deserves to see Sid on a contender in his final years, and I'll die on that hill. Now, another team that got shut out were the Leafs. 4-0 loss against the Capitals. Guys, the sky is falling once again, and it may be for real this time. Austin Matthews looks like a complete shell of himself. The power play is historically bad, and everyone looks like they can't wait to go to Cancun come April. Afterwards, they asked Craig Berube why there was no urgency or passion in this game, and he just said, ask those guys, not me. That's a fellow who's got no more answers right there. I sense a potential job opening coming. What are we now on? Coach 3 or 4 of the Matthews era? I'm sure just another coach will solve absolutely everything. Meanwhile, the Blackhawks without Bedard are just sad and pretty much a free dub for any other team. Lane Hudson gets 3 assists in the Habs, win 4-1, outshooting the Hawks 35-15, spanking there. Lane's brother Quinn also had a great game against the Bruins. He scores his first career goal, but his milestone is unfortunately overshadowed by Jari getting injured as he pulls something stretching out for his save. Only his 3rd game as an Oiler. The script writers are absolutely devious for this one. At least they still have Connor McDavid. This sick puppy has 20 points in his last 7 games. He scores again. The Oilers win 3-1 and are starting to cook here. That means it's probably time for LA to stop screwing around. They beat Tampa 2-1 with the underrated superstar Adrian Kempe getting both tucks. Hilarious how we're probably going to see the Kings and Oilers in round 1 yet again this year. 5th year in a row. Poor Kings fans. I'm sure 5th time's the charm. It does look like Minnesota is getting himself comfy. Guy played 30 plus minutes in this one on a random game in December. He's a machine just like the rest of Minnesota right now. They put up 5 against the Blue Jackets, helped by the wall of St. Paul in the crease to pick up their 6th win in a row. Now, dare I say the Sabres are truly heating up here. They fired their GM Kevin Adams and brought in Jarmo Kekalainen, and then they defeat Philly for their 4th win in a row. Get the Sabres in the dance here. No fan base deserves it more than Buffalo. Side note there is it'll be very interesting to see if Tage Thompson does indeed make Team USA. Then on to the Blues and Rangers. Thank God for New York. They're on the road here. JT Miller, who's had his ups and downs as the first year as the captain of the Rangers, absolutely rips this one for the OT winner. He's got 3 OT goals already this season. Rangers needed that. On to Calgary and Seattle. Tate McRae is in the house at the game. Sorry, fellas. There's no way the Flames are losing when she's in the stands. Just the way she goes. Flames win 4-2, and now Seattle has lost 4 in a row and 10 of their last 11. Holy, do they stink. Finally, we had Dallas coming into San Jose, and Celebrini continues to be an absolute dog. Walks the guy on the faceoff dot, then sets up Colin Graf all alone. Kid is unreal. It's getting old just saying it. However, it is tough to win games when the Tendy's delivering free pizzas right up the middle. That is the game winner, unfortunately, as Dallas takes it 5-3. Now let's move on to Friday, where we see a crazy 3-goal comeback. Hurricanes are up 3-0 with 10 minutes left to go against the Panthers, but Florida seems to live rent-free in Carolina's head. All the big boys step up. Marchand, Bennett, and then Reinhart with 40 seconds left in the game to tie it up. OT we go, where things start getting a little spicy. Seth Jarvis is going to take a huge whack from Rodriguez driving the net. He goes flying into the post and no call. Jarvis had to leave the game after that, which means now the players got to police the game. All hell breaks loose at the end of OT. Everyone's going after each other, but to add insult into injury, Rodriguez gets the shootout winner. The goddamn Panthers are back. That's their 4th win in a row. And just like that, they are 2nd in the Atlantic. See, everything was always going to be fine for the Panthers. Meanwhile, the Canucks are totally pooching the tank job. They trade Quinn Hughes. All of a sudden, Demko becomes a wall, and Sherwood turns into West Coast Sidney Crosby. He gets a hattie, and they win their 3rd in a row. The Devils, on the other hand, beat Utah to stay in the top 3 in the Metro. The Avs end up beating the Jets to go a ridiculous 25-2-7 on the season. Any other year, no team would be even close to them. but this year the Stars are just as much of a wagon. They got the Ducks, who are a fun, up-and-coming team, but their youth means they put on some stinkers. Dallas with a smackdown in this one. Touchdown, 2-point conversion and everything. 8 goals in total for utter domination. The Central is officially the division of death. Now, Saturday, we are packed, so let's kick it into rapid fire, starting with the Caps and Red Wings. Detroit was up 4-0 halfway through this game, but then the Caps got going. It was 4-2. Chychrun scores to bring the score within 1. But hold the phone. Call Gary. We got goaltender interference. Yeah, even if you lay as much as a fingernail on the tendy nowadays, that is no bueno, no goal. That stopped all the momentum, so Wings win it 5-2. Then let's go to the Rangers and Flyers. Philly had a 4-2 lead with 4 minutes left, but talk about an early Christmas miracle. Rangers, on home ice, may I remind you, scored 2 goals to tie the game and force it eventually to a shootout where Timmy Panarin shows the set of oven mitts he's got on him. He goes forehand, backhand, roof, slick. Rangers come back for the W. Moving over to the Oilers and Wild, Minnesota looks fully unstoppable right now. Boldy, 2 goals. Hughes grabbed an assist, and the Wild extend their win streak to 7 games in a row. That is wagon status right there. On the other end of the spectrum, the Blackhawks season may just be completely cooked. It was announced that Frankie Nazar will be out for about 4 weeks with an injury. No Nazar, no Bedard, is just crippling. They lose 6-4 to the Sens and are pretty much depressing to watch right now. Then, would you believe if I actually told you the Sabres look like they're putting something together here? The big boys start dancing for them. Dahlin gets a slick goal. They find a way to get 2 points in the shootout, and all of a sudden, they have won 5 games in a row. I am all for the Sabres train rolling here. Little curveball of the night is that St. Louis puts Florida in their place. That's rare. 6-2 win. Robbie Thomas had himself a night. Meanwhile, the Canucks stay on a heater. Hilarious. You can't make this stuff up. Canucks and the Bruins go the distance in the shootout. 14 shooters and the new kid on the block, and Liam Ogren scores to get the game winner. Make that 4 in a row since they traded Hughes. They just continue to piss away that tank job. On the other hand, the Penguins might just take that role and run with it. They're on an 18-wheeler off the cliff right now. Montreal's Jacob Fowler shuts them out. 31 saves on the night. Penguins have now lost 8 in a row. I think it's safe to say that they're going to be a lottery team just like we all thought at the beginning of the season. It's also been a tough couple days for Carolina. They can't hold a lead against a Florida team if their life depended on it. Carolina again took a 3-0 lead against Tampa, and just like they did against Florida the other night, they blow it again. Tampa, 6 goals out of nowhere. They come alive, and they didn't let up one bit. That is another stinger for Carolina. But hey, Carolina, at least you're not Leaf fans. They're in Nashville. Coach called out their effort, and they come out and lay out another egg. 5-3 loss to the Preds, who on a good day are as dysfunctional as they are boring, but they found a way to beat Toronto. It is clearly evident right now that the Leafs seem to be on a brink of a massive change. Of course, it probably won't lead to any more winning, but that's just the Toronto special. Fire a coach, go 500, and then revert back to your old ways. Get ready for some lean years in Toronto, because I don't think the parade is going to be on anytime soon. Moving on, a team that tried making moves were Columbus. They traded for Mason Marchment, but it didn't really make a difference in this game against Anaheim. Marchment did pot one, but the Ducks bounce back to win 4-3 and keep Columbus in the bottom of the East. Finally, we finish off the night with the Flames and Golden Knights, and you gotta give Calgary credit here. Scoring goals seems like an absolute chore for them, but the boys are finding a way to be in the mix. The captain, Michael Backlund, pops 2, while Devin Cooley stops 34 shots on the night to beat Vegas 6-3. All of a sudden, the Flames, who seem like they were in Bettman's basement all year, have gone 10-4-1 in their last 15 and climbed within 3 points of a playoff spot. So, what did you think of Week 11? Who surprised you? Who pissed you off? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, we do weekly breakdowns and recaps of the NHL every Sunday on the channel, as well as other breakdowns throughout the week. So if you want to stay up to date on all things NHL, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single thing.